So hey everyone, today we have an incredible guest speaker with over 100,000 coaching sessions, 50,000 plus hours, one of the most experienced real estate coaches in the world, and arguably, honestly, one of the best top real estate coaches in the world. As a speaker, he's led over 580 sales seminars with 400,000 plus combined attendees. Now, this is one person I've been following for about 5 years since I've been a realtor. He's a person that I go to when I need some motivation in my life to prospect or light a fire in my bum. I would go on YouTube and type in, watch one of his sales seminars. He actively coaches some of the top realtors and teams across the world. So I'm honored to have Mr. Bill Pipes in the house. Bill, thank you.
What's up, crew? Great to see you guys, man. And Thomas, thanks for having me on. I'm really pumped. And, not only just to see Danny, but to get a chance to be able to pour into you guys, man. And so from what, Thomas, what you were telling me is we got everyone from like BC all the way to GTA, maybe up to PIE. I just love using the Canadian like terminology, right? So we got it all the way across from border to border, from sea to sea, right, man? So
Absolutely.
And, fortunately, guys, I have the chance to work with, some of the top agents in Canada right now, right? All the way from British Columbia, all the way to Windsor, from Calgary to Windsor, up into GTA, all the way over to the east as well, too. And guys, yay. It's exciting times right now, isn't it? Challenging times, but exciting times, and good things that are ultimately taking place. And, a market that's made for badasses like yourself. By the way, I am that American that will probably drop a couple of badasses or asses or whatever. So just bear with me. So how you guys been? Dude, guys, we're halfway through the year. Show me just like, hey, coach, I'm super pumped. My year is going great. I'm a little bit like, it's okay. It's halftime at the football game, or it's like in between periods at the hockey game and we're like sort of tied, or man, have I got a lot of work to make up, right? So show me with your fingers right now, guys, just how we doing? Like, how's the year been so far, right? We got a thumbs up. We got some thumbs in sideways. Cody, what was yours, man? Like, we're sideways right there. I love it, man. Okay. Listen, guys, this year has been just such an interesting year for real estate, hasn't it, guys? I mean, I want you to think about that. I was just with one of my great clients. His name's Goran Todorovic. Goran's in Windsor. Guys, they're a small percentage of the agent count. They're about 6% of the agent count, but they're 35% of the market share in Windsor. It's insane. I mean, they're like, honestly, Thomas, they're just beasts. And one of the things that I've been hammering with them and their team is like, look, this market has been sort of like that proverbial girlfriend or boyfriend that could not make up their mind. How many of you guys have felt that a little bit this year? Or better yet, let's just start here. How many of you guys have ever had, long time ago, galaxy far, far away, a boyfriend or girlfriend that could not make up their mind? They were hot, they were cold, they were in, they were out, they were up, they were down, they were all over the place. Anyone besides myself ever dealt with that before? Raise your hand, say aye.
Aye.
Right? And guys, has the real estate market not felt that same way? Like, it was like, okay, January, it was cold, then it was hot. And then February, it was, oh, good. And then March, and then April, holy shit, man. And then May, it's been like, oh, who turned the lights out? And then June is like, oh, we're back to the party again. It's been a very interesting market. And because of that, the consumer, look, how many of you as real estate agents have been a little bit confused about the market? Like, what the hell is this thing going to do? How is this shit going to land? Could it make up its mind? Anyone felt a little bit of that in their world and in their business over the course of the last 6 months? Raise your hand, say me, coach. So here's what I want you to write down. It's so important. I want you to write down, if I, as the agent, has been confused, think about how confusing it's been for buyers and sellers. Alex, if I've been like, whoa, what's happening? What's going on with this real estate market? With me as the actual real estate agent, if I've had some confusion around this, then someone that's motivated to buy and sell, they probably had the same thing. Does that make sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. And because Hughes, I'll call Alex Hughes or Alex So, I'll just call you Hughes or So or whatever, since we got two Alexes, right? So because it's been confusing, there's been lack of certainty, and it's been hard to move people forward unless rates have dropped down and all of a sudden it's caught a fire and then we push forward. And I want you to write this down. I want you to write down, in 2023, our job as a real estate professional comes down to one or two words. One or two words. Our job as a real estate professional has come down to one or two words. educate, and inform. The best salespeople, Harsimran, did I say that right? Or did I just totally massacre it?
That's correct. Yeah, that's correct.
Yes, it's correct. I massacred it, or yes, it's correct. I got it right. Which one?
Good, it was good.
All right, good. Awesome, brother. Listen, check it out, my friends. Our number one job that we have as a real estate professional is to educate and inform the clients about the reality of what's taking place in the market. And I want you to write this down, that our number one job that we have, whether it was the first 6 months, Danny, of 2023, right, and this uncertainty, or the second half of 2023, which, by the way, is going to be very robust and going to have a lot of legs on it. How many of you guys believe that the second half of this year is going to be stronger than the first half of 2023 by leaps and bounds? Raise your hand, say aye. Okay. And Cody, I got zero doubt in that, bro. I've got zero doubt in the fact of that. Just like I know the sun's going to come up in the east, it's going to set in the west. I'm 100% confident and assured in that. So our job, though, is to be able to actually educate and inform. And why is that? I want you to write down these two words: false narrative. False narrative. What does that mean? When I'm talking about buyers or sellers and the market that we're in right now, why would I use a word? Why would I use the two words false narrative combined together?
Media portrayal.
The news, the media, it's created. When you're talking to your buyers, guys, and you're talking to your sellers, I'm just really curious. What are they telling you? Are they like, holy cow, man, the market's great. I can't wait to jump in. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. Yeah, sign me up, coach, put me in. I'm ready to go. Is it that, or is it a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of fear? What are they saying to you guys? I'm just curious.
Whatever they're looking at on social media, or, all that stuff that they're hearing from people that are giving them small bits of information and not the full story.
Yeah. And you know what, Harsimran, it's really interesting because today's consumer, buyer and seller, is a lot more educated, a lot more informed. It doesn't necessarily mean they're smarter. It means that they've got more information at their fingertips. Does that make sense, guys? And because they've got more information at their fingertips, then the waters get a little bit muddier. Right. And our job becomes even that much more important to be able to actually bring the reality of the market to them. Because here's what I want you guys to write down. Write down: an educated and motivated consumer, i.e. buyer or seller, will always make more intelligent choices. Right, guys? An educated and motivated consumer will always make much more intelligent choices. So here is, by the way, Danny, you're going to love this. This is something you've never seen from me before. This is the foundation for my entire coaching model right here. It comes down, if it can't be written on a paper, on a napkin, then it shouldn't be written at all. This is 3 circles intertwined. I want you to draw that really quick. It doesn't need to be pretty, right? The first times I did this, it was horrible. I call this the S4 principle. There are 3 S's that, as an agent, we're going to circle back around to this whole conversation I'm having with you about controlling the narrative. There are 3 S's that I think every single agent needs to be focused on in their business model. By the way, Danny, you've never seen this either as well, too. This is the list of 29 people, Thomas, that I've actually coached that have crossed over $1 million in the last 10 to 11 years. When I look at this, and I say that not to impress you guys, I say it to impress upon you that success leaves clues. Would you agree with me on that? Yes or no? Right? Part of why you're with Thomas, part of why people coach is so that they don't have to make the mistakes themselves. They don't have to step in the piles of caca that are out there that a coach, a mentor, a broker, an organization can say, watch out for that, Cody. Don't step over there. Well, here's my watch out, don't step on that, and to be able to make it easier. If you want to have a sustainable business that is built around massive growth, and how many of you guys absolutely want to see your business skyrocket in the second half of the year? I mean, really take off. Say, I'm all in, coach. On the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. I'm all in, coach.
I'm all in.
I love it. Thanks, Naveen. I'm glad I could hear you. So here's what you got to work on, guys. Write down number 1. I need to build my skills. Skills is number 1. No surprise, Danny, there that you hear me talking about skills. And skills are nothing more than dialogues, conversations, scripts you need to have to be able to actually move someone forward and create rapport. I need to actually have, write down stronger standards. That's the second S. And your standards are nothing more than rituals, routines, habits, rituals, routines, habits that align with your goal and that are a non-negotiable. So I've got my skills that are banging, which is I've got my scripts and my dialogues to be able to create rapport, move people forward. I got my standards, which are my rituals, routines, disciplines, right, that I stick to. And then number 3, write down, I need to have my strategies in place. Strategies are nothing more than processes and systems, both in operations and lead generation, that create massive effectiveness and efficiency. Processes and systems, both in my operations and lead generation and marketing, that creates massive efficiency, meaning I get more done, but effectiveness, which also means that I get the right things done. Efficiency, more done in the time, effectiveness, better results, greater profitability. Now, let me talk to you guys about second half of 2023, over 2022. See, I think the skill, and by the way, Thomas, would you like for me to send over to you some scripts that these guys could use to be able to control the narrative? Would you guys use those, Gopal, if I sent them over, like in terms of what to be able to say and how to be able to control the narrative? I've got what's called the cornerstone script. And the cornerstone script is really the one where you meet them where they are. And I say to Gurjeet, I'm curious, what have you heard or what do you believe is occurring in our local market here today? And then as the agent, guess what I do? I shut up and I let them talk. And I, with curiosity, Alicia, am like, I wonder where they got that information from. I'll even ask them that question, Alicia, where I'll say, wow, so you think the market's going to crash? You're going to see massive decrease in terms of the amount of pricing, and you're going to see a lot more homes to choose from. Interesting. Where'd you get that information from? I'm just sort of curious. See, all I want to do is find out where they're coming from and what their thought process is so I can meet them where they are as a salesperson to lead them up to see things differently. Does that make sense, guys? Now then, check this out, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Let's see if I still have this up. Oh, well, there we go. Then what I do, I say something as simple as this, Danny. After they give me that information, I say, well, let me share with you the reality of what is actually occurring in our local market today, right? Now, let me stop this. This script is pretty self-explanatory. It's got 3 parts to being able to control the narrative and switch the framework. But here's the thing I want you guys to understand, okay? What is it that has someone, even if they don't have their scripts and dialogues down, become influential and convincing when they're talking to a buyer or a seller? What do you think it is?
When the buyer and seller trust them.
When they trust them. So we got trust, yes. But think about think about a time in your life. Who is that talked? I'm sorry, you disappeared over to me on the right.
Excuse me, that's me.
What's your name?
Jack Jones. Pleasure to meet you, Coach.
Jack, pleasure to meet you. Jack, what is it that has someone speak with authority and speak with conviction when they actually have the opportunity?
When you know and you've practiced it.
Okay, check this out, guys. Write this down for me, please. Write down, if I need to control the narrative with clients, because is that an important skill? For me, Thomas, that's the number 1 skill for the remainder of 2023, is that you have an ability to be able to actually control the narrative, educate the clients. So how can you become convincing? Write this down for me. Write down, I will never be convincing, Laura, if I am not first convinced. I will never be convincing if I am not first convinced. I will give you guys some North America data from the States. Unfortunately, I don't have the Canadian data right in front of me, but I did have it when I actually went and did something in Windsor. But watch this. A buyer says to me, hey, coach, I'm thinking about waiting. Do you think that I am convinced, first of all, that that is a dumbass move on their part, and that it's going to bite them in the booty? Yes or no? What do you think, guys? Yes or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Alex Hughes, when I've got the data, right? When I've got the data in front of me, and the data points that I use, guys, just so that you know, is I use Keeping Current Matters. I use Housing Wire. I use Altos Research. Now, granted, these are all US based, right, guys? Danny, I would refer over to you, Thomas, to you or any of my data hounds on this call. Are there equivalents in Canada to be able that are effective to be able to use, or can we use that US based data and be able to actually say, hey, you know, our markets run so concurrently that really we can use this same data to be able to actually support it?
Yeah, data from current keeping current matters is relatively the same here. I mean, it just says US, but reality is Canadians can use that and should use that, realtors.
Beautiful.
There isn't anything specifically in the Canadian market.
That sounds to me, by the way, guys, to anyone that would want to actually partner with anyone, a great opportunity for a business, doesn't it? A KCM like Canada based. Yes, Roz, the scripts will be shared with you guys. Okay. All right. So check this out. Here's why I'm convinced that a buyer waiting is not a good thing. January of 2023 versus January 2022. January 2023 versus January 2022. We had 70% more listings in the market in the US and North America. Year over year, 70% increase. Is that surprising? Hell yes. That's almost double. Now, write down for me May of 2023 over May of 2022. May of 2023 over May of 2022, that same number of 70%. Does anyone want to take a stab at where it is now was in May? 16%. Inventory, Harsiman, had constricted from 70% down to 16%. Now, what does that mean? If I'm talking to a buyer, can I use that data to be able to show them how they're actually getting fewer choices? The answer is definitively yes, 100%. Okay. Again, the projections were, write this down for me, that we were going to see a 10 to 15% decline year over year in housing prices. Now, I know some areas of GTA, right, have experienced that, but are we beginning to see a month over month increase now at this point in terms of prices? Maybe not year over year, but are we beginning to see, Gopal, the month on month increase, like where, April homes sold more than they did in March, and in May they sold more than April? Are we seeing that return, that kick up in the market yet, guys? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. What does that mean? We get enough of those months together, we got upward trending data. Now, here in the States, we were expecting to see a 10 to 15% decline in home prices. Right now, the new projection is 4% increase, not decline. We have seen a 14% swing in the projections of prime. Now, again, I'm going to talk to a buyer on that. I'm going to talk to the buyer right now. But if I'm in a Canadian market, right, like Surrey or someplace like that, I'm going to start saying, listen, yeah, year over year, or Barrie, if I'm in Barrie, I'm going to say, yeah, year over year, we're down in terms of home prices. But in the last 90 days, we've seen prices increase for the last month on month on month on month. What that means, Mr. or Mrs. Seller or Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, is the longer you wait, the more you're going to pay, the more equity you're missing out on. Inventory is decreasing every single month, not increasing, which means you're going to have fewer options. Oh, and by the way, here, do you see what I'm doing, guys? I am using the data to do the heavy lifting, where it is not my opinion, but it is 100% the facts. Now, why is that so important, do you think, guys? Why is that so critical?
Opinions are opinionated, facts are factual. People believe it, see it, feel it, and trust it.
Jack, if they think it's your opinion, what are they going to do?
Find their own.
They're going to resist it. Does that make sense?
Yep.
I need you guys to write that down. Anything that appears as your opinion hits their filter of, I don't trust you because you're a salesperson. Even if Shashahan, it's spot on. Even if your opinion is spot on, if it occurs, Arasaman, as your opinion, and I'm not using it as fact and data and quoting higher sources, they're going to go, well, of course, Roz wants me to do this. She's a real estate salesperson. She wants me to buy because she wants that. What does she want? She wants the commission. People are always a little bit resistant in terms of the salesperson. Does that make sense, guys? Now, so you'll get all those scripts. You're going to get all of the data as well, too. Obviously, We're seeing projections of interest rates, at least here in the States, that by the end of this year, we're down in the low sixes or the mid fives. So here's the storm that's brewing, my friends, that I want you to recognize. Is inventory collapsing and decreasing for you guys? Yes or no? Are we seeing less and less inventory? You guys help me out. I need to see something like
Little bit,
okay?
especially good inventory.
Are you seeing any multiple offers yet?
Yeah.
Tons.
Rare.
Tons. Okay. Right. By the way, that's a lead indicator, right? Of homes selling faster. That's a lead indicator of where the market is going, right? I mean, anyone remember back in October and November, were we seeing multiple offers in October? No freaking way. Were we seeing price reductions? Hell yes. Price reductions have reduced down by 90%, meaning that we're seeing 90% fewer price reductions, and we're now seeing multiple offers. So watch this, guys. Your job is simply this. Show the buyer there's less inventory. There's multiple offers. That prices are beginning to increase month over month, may not be year over year. That they're going to have less to choose from, pay more. And the minute that the banks up there in Canada, the Royal Bank lowers rates, guess what happens? Flipping right down shadow demand. In the past, we had shadow inventory. Right now, how many of you have some buyers that are like rate sensitive that are saying, when the rates come down a little bit, I'm going to hop off the sidelines. I'm going to get on the ice and I'm going to start skating really fast to get that home under contract. Do you have some buyers like that right now, guys? Yes or no? Okay. Everybody does. And Owen, the minute that rates drop down, we're going to see a higher level of competitiveness. So watch this. Less to choose from, paying more, right? And, more competition. That's not a position we want to put a buyer in. And our job is to educate them on this. Does that make total sense, guys? Yes or no? Okay. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me answer some questions here because I got one more piece for you guys today. By the way, this is the proprietary style of selling that I teach now, Danny. It's called education-based, data-driven selling process. No longer hype of selling and hey, and let's get it. No, it's present the facts, right, to the motivated person so that they can make a more intelligent decision. And if they're not motivated, by the way, guys, everyone look at me really quick. What should you do with the person that you have this conversation multiple times with? They don't want to get it. They continue to push back and they're not motivated enough to be able to actually bite on this. What should you do with that person?
Move on to the next.
Yeah.
Put them in your CRM, let wonderful AI and technology drip on them until they are motivated enough to be able to actually hear the truth. This is so key, my friends. Okay, and I want you to write this down. Write down, my job is to no longer create motivation. It's to educate the motivated. Period. Shane, our job as great real estate agents is no longer to motivate people. Like then, the challenge was, bro, in 2021, the market was doing the motivation, wasn't it? Right? Now, Jack, it's the situation that's doing the motivation. Now it's sometimes the interest rates that are doing the motivation, right? So our job though, and the last little bit that I want to give you here is this, that I want you to really recognize. For the second half of the year, it would be remiss for me not to hit this with you guys. Write down 1, 2, and 3 on the sheet of paper where you're taking some notes, which by the way, I want to acknowledge Nav. Thank you guys for taking notes. Thank you for actually writing. Thank you for taking this serious, right? Okay. I'm doing this, because of Thomas and the relationship that I have with him. So for me, seeing you guys soak this in is all the payment that I need. Is that fair enough, guys? To see that you do something with this, that it has an impact on your business. That's how you repay me as Coach Pipes, is for you guys to be able to have the success you deserve. Now, you will never have the success you deserve unless you actually get this next point. And I want you to write down 1, 2, 3. Write down 1 equals survival. 2 equals, right? By the way, next to survival, write down broke. 1 equals survival / broke. 2 equals sustainability / growth. 3 equals breakthrough/wealth. Phil, what do these represent? Well, if you guys buy into this whole concept that I just gave you, which I hope that you do, which is that our job is no longer and has never been as great salespeople, and the great salespeople know this, to motivate individuals. Our job is to educate them who are motivated. What does that presuppose that we need to be doing on a regular basis then?
Talking to more people.
To do what? To find the motivated. Does that make sense, guys? If our job is not, Gurjeet, to create motivation, it's to find the motivated. It means that we need to be spending 1, 2, or 3 hours a day prospecting as a non-negotiable standard. I just gave you the skill that you need to have, and that skill is controlling the narrative. But the standard is a minimum of 1, preferably 2, ideally 3 hours of prospecting every single day. See, 1 hour a day, Alex Hughes, I guarantee you, I've run the numbers in this market and the math, and I have enough data to prove this and back it. You will survive. 1 hour in this market right now, if all that you do, Gopal, is an hour, that's survival in this market, okay? That is not why we got into real estate. Laura, we didn't get into real estate to actually like just survive, right? To go broke slowly. No, we got into real estate. Why'd you guys get into real estate? If someone says, because I love helping people, I will punch you in the throat. You're a business professional. I know that you all love helping people, but why did you really get into real estate? Yes, Alicia, right there, baby. Like, this is business. By the way, everyone point at yourself and go, it's okay for me to make a shit ton of money on the count of 3 with a big smile on your face. So you ready? 1, 2, 3. It's okay
for me to
for
make
me
a
to make
shit
it.
ton of money.
By the way, I'm originally from Southeast Texas. That's a metric measurement in Southeast Texas. That is a legit measurement. How much is that? That's a shit ton, right? So, but you do that through serving people, and you do that through doing a great job. So I'm not taking away the importance of relationships and connecting deeply with people. But see, your job is not to motivate. Your job is to find those who are motivated. So therefore, if you want to have your business just sustain and stay where you are, you'll stick at an hour. If you want to have growth, if you want to have your business go backwards and possibly you struggle, it's 1 hour a day. Sustainability and seeing your income grow, that's 2 hours a day. See, if I look at this list, Thomas, Danny, of the people that are, I mean, Danny, you know some of these people. I'll name their names. Tommy Toole. Right? He was someone that I coached that broke over that million. He was 2 to 3 hours a day. Robert Mack, 1 to 2 hours a day. Greg Cummings, 2 to 3 hours a day. Amber Anderson, 2 hours a day. Jessica Foote, Brad Feldman, Kofi Narte. I could go on and on with all these wonderful names. They all were doing, none of them were an hour. They were all 2 hours or more. Does that make sense, guys? Now, someone asked me on a podcast on Friday, Bill, why have you been able to succeed in this industry? I've outlasted a lot of people. That's number one. At 51, almost 52 years old, I just freaking outgrind. Does that make sense, guys? You know, like, it's just a matter of sticking to it, just like you, right? But the other piece is this, is when I am presented with something that has so much fact, I just surrender to it. Does that make sense, guys? And someone says, hey, dude, you got to do an hour to survive, 2 hours to grow, 3 hours for a breakthrough. I'm going to figure out, how do these guys get to 3 hours? What do I need to do to get to 3 hours? If I'm at 1, how do I go to 2? If I'm at 2, how do I go to 3? And I'm not going to push back. I'm not going to push back with well, it's hard. Well, you know, you don't know my market. Well, I'm doing okay. Well, the market's coming back. Well, I'm busy. No, I'm going to figure out the way to be able to actually follow the breadcrumbs of Hansel and Gretel, of the millionaires that have gone before me, and be able to do what they did. Does that make sense, my friends? Okay. Listen, you're not broken. Your business isn't screwed up. You aren't like some idiot. You're all very smart, intelligent people. You're on this call. There's just some changes you need to make for the second half of the year. Does that make sense, guys? And really, what I look at is, when I'm, Danny, digging into prospecting, it's never, hey, do I want 1, 2, or 3 hours? It's, do I want to just survive in my income? Do I want to have massive sustainability and growth in my income? Or do I want to have a breakthrough in my income? Really, the 1 or 2 or 3 hours doesn't represent an hour amount of time of prospecting. It represents the lifestyle that you're choosing to live. I want you to think about that. You either have a 1 hour type of lifestyle, a 2-hour type of lifestyle or a $1 million type of lifestyle. And the choice is yours. There is no right or wrong. It's just a choice that you make and the consequences that you have to deal with it. So educate yourself, get yourself informed, get bought in, become convincing so that you can convince the others, dig in, work on the script and dialogue. Thomas, I will have Anna send that to you along with some great closes. As long as you guys pinky promise me that you guys are going to use it when you get it, even bits and pieces, even if it's not all of it, give me some pinky promises. Go, coach, I pinky promise you I'll use all or some, if not all, some, if not all, right? Okay. Right. I love it. And then on top of that, you got to commit to 1, 2, or 3. The biggest mistake that I see people make, they have a bigger goal for the second half of the year or a bigger goal for a new year. They approach it with the same bullshit habits. The biggest thing that you need to control are the disciplines, rituals, and routines, because even if you don't have the skills, even the blind squirrel will find a freaking nut every now and again, as long as it keeps on digging, right? So it's that discipline of doing the 1, 2, or 3. Thomas, anything that you want to say, brother, to end today?
No, I mean, that was absolutely amazing. Like, I took 2 pages of notes. That was awesome. I mean, guys, if you guys can't get something out of Bill's talk there, it might not be the industry for you, because he do exactly what he says and you'll be a millionaire. I mean, everyone that he's mentioned, I follow him as well. So thank you so much, Bill. And guys, you got to see this guy speak. He's at Build 2023 in San Antonio here in about a month or so. Check out his website at coachpipes.com. Follow him on Instagram. He's daily giving Instagram stories on just him speaking of tips that, I use in my business, and we're fairly successful. So follow Bill.
Yeah,
he's
dude.
that inspiration.
And Thomas, thinking anything I can do to support you guys, just let me know, man. I'm always here. Like, legit. We have a vision. Thomas, you may not know this. Our vision is this, Danny. We are committed that over the next 10 years, we help at least 1,000 people break over that $1 million mark. Okay. Like the $1 million mark. Now that's, if you're in Canada, that's Canadian $1 million. If that's the US, it's US $1 million, but then they break over the $1 million mark in their business. Right. While we're working with them, we got 29 underneath our belts right now. So, we're pushing, shucking and jiving, man. So anything we can do to support you. And even if your goal isn't $1 million, even if your goal is like, coach, I want to do 500,000, but I want to do it in less time, dude, hit us up. Okay. So in the meantime, I love you guys. Danny, I freaking love you, dude. And I jump in front of a train for you. So I'm so happy to see you today. All right, guys. Thank you. I got a jam. Thanks, Thomas, for the opportunity. Yep. I truly do appreciate it more than you know. Thank you, guys. Crush the second half. Bye-bye, guys.
Thank you.